Hi everyone, I'm Hannah Huntley with the Wealth Group at Union Savings Bank, and today I have Liz Azud from Elizabeth Azud Insurance Agency out of Danbury, Connecticut. Liz and her team specialize in Medicare planning and focusing on having that dialogue with their clients on Medicare process. So hi Liz, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Hannah. Great to be here.
Yes. I think it would be important to kind of start from the beginning and just kind of offer information on when clients should first engage in the conversation with you and your team, and at what point should they start doing that. As we know, they're getting a lot of information in the mail as they approach 65 on Medicare, and a lot of alarming notices maybe to get people's attention. But what would be an appropriate time to start that conversation with you?
I would say about a year before. It's 6 months to a year technically, but everybody's different. And some people want to have that information as far ahead as possible because they know they're going to be inundated, or perhaps they already have been inundated already. The communication that comes out when you are turning 65 is completely overwhelming, where everyone is trying to get your attention. You become the most popular person on the planet when you are 65 or older, or just aging into Medicare. So want to try to clear things out before we get there.
Yeah, for sure. When is that open process? It's your 65th birthday is deadline, or?
Well, the 65th birthday is when you're eligible to be enrolled in Medicare. Mm-hmm. So that's typically when people enroll in Medicare, unless they're working or they're covering a spouse on their employer coverage. There's different scenarios as to when the right time to look at it is. But getting a good baseline 6 months to a year before you're turning 65 gives you that ability to tune out all of the noise when it does become your birthday. So you'll know, okay, yes, there's a lot of stress I need to enroll and I need to do this, right, and you better do this or else. You can have a very clear mind going through that in real time, because you'll say, no, I've already gone over this. I actually don't need to do anything right now. Or I know what I need to do and I know what my next steps are. So taking a more proactive approach, at least just looking and getting yourself settled into the program ahead of time is good, about 6 months ahead.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Meeting with you, obviously there's a lot of information out there. I think that having that dialogue with you and your team during this whole process can be very helpful. Maybe people are a little apprehensive because they don't know the costs associated to working with a broker, don't want to pay anything additional. You know, most people are maybe going into retirement, starting to utilize their savings versus having income coming in. Can you explain kind of the relationship that you have with clients and how you're compensated?
Sure. So when you're, going through your Medicare different options, you have the ability to, of course, enroll directly with an insurance company. You can also enroll in a Medicare plan on the Medicare website as well, or you can go with a broker, like me. Regardless of what option you choose, you're going to pay the same premium to any entity that you would be enrolling in. So you don't pay more to work with a broker. You just have somebody else that's there to watch your back throughout the year and be there to help guide you on issues as they come up.
Yeah, and I think an important fact in working with you specifically is you personalize this service so much that it is a very personal path that you go through. It depends on your specific situation. It depends on your family's situation. It's not the one size fits all that some of these brochures maybe are attaining to. It is so much of a conversation back and forth and that person's specific needs. So can you tell us a little bit more about how you interact with clients and why it's not one size fits all?
Sure. So I like to get a big picture of your family situation. Who are you covered under? Is it your employer coverage? Are you also covering a spouse? It's not just about figuring out what doctors you're utilizing and what prescriptions you're taking. That's kind of child's play. That's the easy part of this. I think that there's not a lot of emphasis put on the big picture, and people will rush to make a decision very early because they feel that enormous amount of pressure, which is completely understandable, to just hurry up and enroll, but then realizing that they're leaving family behind with options like Cobra
Yeah.
or, even worse, no coverage at all. So it's very an individualized choice. It does also depend on how large your employer group is to determine whether or not it makes sense to go on Medicare. So it's a very individualized process. You're right. There are so many different rules and regulations, and nobody's situation is the same. So
Yeah.
what might work for your neighbor, and that's the right plan for her, that may not work for you. So everyone's different. So that's why taking that more of a proactive, big picture approach is a great way to start.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I think that that's something that we find in clients as well.
Yeah.
Is that, understanding there's things that trigger off in our mind that are not necessarily what the client is representing. And so when you're filling out a form online or something like that, and you don't have that personalized connection where you're having these conversations about family and about the fact that you're still working and your employer's coverage, and understanding all of that information could put you in a completely different plan or path with Medicare.
Oh, absolutely. 100% agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to highlight too the benefits of Connecticut specifically, because there's specific benefits that only Connecticut out of all the other states can attain, right?
Right. Yeah. So Connecticut's one of 4 states in the country that has guaranteed issue rights for one of the 2 options. When you do go on Medicare, there are different types of plans that you can go with. You can have a Medicare supplement policy and a Medicare prescription plan. You could go with an Advantage plan, which is a managed Medicare option. There's so many different details, and there's pros and cons to both scenarios. So kind of giving you an idea of what a big picture is really going to lay that foundation as to how to determine which type of product is going to make sense for you, because everyone's different.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about, everybody's on Part A, Part B, and then these two additional plans that is where their options start? Is that accurate?
That's correct. Yep. So a lot of times you get a lot of different information saying you're going to be penalized if you don't sign up for a plan when you're first eligible. So there's a lot of peer pressure that comes out, when that may be true. And that's the one word you're going to hear a lot in, Medicare advertisements. You may qualify for this. You may have a penalty. That may is a very operative word to be aware of, because it may not apply to you. So really, really important to kind of know your specific situation, sit down and talk to somebody about what's going on, and then we can figure out what the right plan is going forward, which kind of path. As far as Connecticut goes, most states in this country do not have guaranteed issue rights for Medicare supplement plans outside of their initial enrollment period, which means you could be medically underwritten and denied in many states. Connecticut does not allow that. There's no medical underwriting on Medicare supplement insurance plans. So each year when we're reviewing our clients in the fall to prepare for the following year, we're reviewing those plan options, and then we're seeing, does it make sense to stay on your current plan, or does it make sense to take the other option that you have not opted for? In Connecticut, you're allowed to do that each year during that annual election period with no underwriting requirements at all. And so that's one of the big things that people will say is, if I don't buy this now, I might not be able to get it later. Well, not here. So we're very lucky, that our state has been very flexible with folks that are on Medicare with that.
And like you said, you're meeting with clients on an annual basis, touching base with them, but they're also able to reach out to you and your team when some type of life event that might trigger something happens.
Oh, yeah.
Similar to the relationship that we have, the financial plan is never the straight and narrow. I always say,
never set it and forget it.
Exactly. It's always room for pivot and changes to be made. So I think in relation to your plan and your guidance, same kind of thing. You can make these changes as things evolve. So having that annual review process, check-in period every once in a while is very helpful before that open enrollment period.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, we want our clients to reach out to us. And if you lost your ID card while you're traveling, if you can't get access to your medication because you lost them, at the airport, call us, because what we're able to do is we're able to help work with your doctors and your insurance plans to get authorizations along that way. So we can help you if something does come up. Trying to call an 800 number when you're in the middle of a crisis or a big issue can be very frustrating, because you may be transferred here and you need to be over here. So, if you call us, email us, let us know what's going on. We can help you navigate your next step and keep the frustration levels as low as possible when working with insurance.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine
Super fun.
the relief that some people have when speaking with you and your team, and having that guidance during the process, through the process, and then thereafter the service
Right.
that continues on is so crucial. Having these liaisons, it's been great for me in our financial process, working with you and your team with certain clients, and really understanding the Medicare process as much as I need to help guide people to you as well. So thank you for your partnership. And if you want to reach out to Liz and her team, please feel free to reach out to us directly, or I'll have Liz's contact information below as well. Thank you for listening, and we'll hope to see you soon. Take care.
Take care.